All right, let's take a shot at this word processing worksheet number 2. Now, before we start out here, I want to make sure everybody can see right here. Make sure you're looking at this ruler right here. This ruler's got some interesting stuff to tell us in the first part of this. Okay, so the first part of this, we are going to mess with some indenting in our paragraphs here. So the first one here, we're just going to indent the first line of the paragraph, and that's pretty easy. Just put your cursor on the first line there, and you can just hit tab. Notice up here in the ruler, notice these tab stops. This top one right here that represents the first line indent, you can see that if you put your mouse over it and then just wait for it to pop out. The first line indent moves to represent basically where the first line is indented to. But not only does this move to show you where the first line is indented to, you can actually grab it. If you put your mouse over it carefully and click, you can move that anywhere you want. So if you're not happy with the first line indent being at 1/2 inch, you can actually grab that and move it anywhere you want it to be. Next paragraph, we're going to indent the entire paragraph. We're going to move the whole thing over. And this is what they call in academic writing usually a block quote indent. Now, in Google Docs, the easiest way to do this is right here. Just jump up here to the Increase Indent button. If you just click that, it just increases the indent by 1/2 inch basically every time you click it. And the button right next to it is the Decrease Indent button. Every time you click that, it decreases the indent by 1/2 inch. Notice as you move this around, both of these tab stops jump to match. So if you were to grab this bottom tab stop, the one that looks kind of like upside down triangle there, the left indent, and you were to grab both of those and move them, you could actually grab them and move this by hand rather than clicking the button. Now the third kind of indent, which a lot of people don't even know this indent exists, this third kind of indent is what they call a hanging indent. And the most common place to see a hanging indent is in like a bibliography or a reference page, but it's good to know how to make one. In Google Docs, the fastest way to create one of these is to go up to your Format menu and go down here to Align and Indent. Now you'll notice that we've got alignment here and we've got increase indent and decrease indent, which we have a tab for, a button for up here on the home ribbon. But we also have these indentation options down here at the bottom. Okay, so if you click on that, this opens up. So the indentation options window has an option down here for a special indent, and it's right there. Hanging indent, 1/2 inch is good. Click apply and see what that does. What that does is that leaves the first line hanging out on the margin, and then it lines up the rest of the lines in that paragraph all nice and neat. Okay, so that's 3 types of indent. First line indent, a full indent or a block quote indent, and then what they call a hanging indent. Okay, next we are going to mess with the word processor's find and replace function. So in this paragraph, and yeah, I'm going to highlight the paragraph for this one. I don't want it searching the whole document. In this paragraph, highlighted, I'm going to go up here to the Edit menu and drop down here to Find and Replace. Now what the instructions say we're going to do is we're going to replace black square with white circle. So right here you're going to type in black square. Make sure you spell it right because it will look for exactly what you type. Because if you wanted to find a misspelled word and replace it with a correctly spelled word, you could use this for that. And then we're going to replace this with white circle. Now you could go through and click find next, replace, find next, replace. You could do it one at a time. Now that would be if you wanted to just find a few in a document and replace some of them. But in this case, we're going to replace all of them. So we're just going to click replace all. And you'll notice that right behind there, as fast as you can click the button, it just replaced all of those black squares with white circles. A really useful function if you're looking for that kind of thing. Next, we are going to use the proofreading functions to proofread this paragraph. In this word processor, we're getting a red squiggly and a blue squiggly. Some word processors actually have a green squiggly as well. I don't think this one does. But Each one of these, obviously, you can just fix. You can just go ahead and right click, but you should notice that it's asking you what you want to say. Okay, the computer's not smart enough to know what you want to say. It just takes a guess. So you right click that, click on your best guess. Go through there, fix them up, fix them up. Pretty easy. Probably everybody's done this before. Okay, but I would like you to notice a couple of things. First of all, that was pretty easy. Second of all, notice that I've got a blue squiggly here under this word. Now, this word is spelled correctly, but the computer thinks it's the wrong word, which it is. This actually says, Courtney eagerly hoped on the school bus, excited to get to school, where this should actually say hopped. Hopped has two P's in it. Okay, misspelling like that's easy to cause, kind of hard to catch, but the computer's helping you try to make it happen. Over here, we've got a blue squiggly under the word there. And the problem with that one is it's the wrong kind of there. Okay, if you right click that, it should tell you to change it to THERE. Here's something also that's pretty interesting with the word processor that the computer has built into it, because the computer doesn't actually know how to spell words. Okay, basically what it does is it takes your words and compares them to a dictionary that's in its memory. Okay, so to do grammar, it does the same kind of thing. It finds the words and compares them to a whole bunch of grammar rules that are stored in the computer's memory. And your phone kind of works the same way. So it doesn't actually know how to spell. It doesn't actually know grammar. It just has a bunch of rules to follow, which is why probably that it didn't catch this one. For some reason, there's not a rule that helped the computer catch that that word is the wrong word. Okay, so the moral of the story is you can't really trust the computer 100%. It'll help you, but you still got to know how to spell, and you still got to know your grammar and which words to use. Because this right here should be OUR, our class pet hamster, not our class pet hamster. That doesn't make any sense. But our class pet hamster makes tons of sense. All right, so got that all cleaned up. Don't think there's any more mistakes in there. Should be good to go. Whoa. Got to proofread. Check that out. Missing a space right there. Computer didn't catch that. Got to proofread your work. Still need to know how to spell. Still need to know grammar, even though we've got these computers trying to help us out as good as they can. Okay, next one. We're going to insert a clip art image right here. Now, for Google Docs, you have a few choices. You can upload one from your computer. You can search the web. You can go to your drive or your photos. Those are your Google Drive, your Google Photos. If you have a pictures URL, you can throw it in that way, or you can use the camera on your machine. Now, when I say clip art, that's kind of an old term. Word processors used to come with built-in kind of cartoonish art that you could use free and clear. There was no copyright on it. Okay, we have to be a little more careful about that these days. But for this assignment, you should be good. What we're going to do, and there's also an insert image right here, same options, by the way. What we're going to do is we're going to do a search the web. So we go over here, it takes you right to Google Images, and we're just going to search the web. So I found a sweet image, I'm going to insert it. Boom, there it is. Pretty simple. Now that would be kind of an example of clip art, I guess, even though it's not really clip art. It's not a cartoon dog, but it is an image that I found somewhere else. Now down here, we're going to insert not one that you just found on the web. You're going to insert any image you have from your own phone or personal collection. It's just a little bit different. You could do this from the computer. You could do this from your Google Photos, your Drive, anywhere you're the camera on your computer. You just take a picture of yourself. I can try that. I don't know if that's going to work. No, it's not going to work for me because my camera is being used to record this video. But you could definitely take a picture of yourself, take a picture of whatever. Just make sure it's appropriate. I am going to upload a picture from that I used to use at the school. Picture of an owl, Valley Owls, baby. So basically, I want to see two pictures that are kind of from two different locations. I've got one from offline from a web search, and I've got one from one of my flash drives. So that's basically it for that. It's just want you to get a couple of examples of different types of pictures thrown in there. So now let's look down here. We're going to have the computer help us create an outline. We're going to duplicate this outline over on the left. Now, sometimes computers call this an ordered list or a numbered list. Okay, we kind of call it an outline. Computer calls it some other stuff, but it's actually pretty easy if you let the computer do its job. If you know how to communicate with the computer, it makes it tons easier to get this done. Let the computer do its job. You just worry about the typing. If you do this right, you shouldn't even have to take your hands off the keyboard. So what you're going to do is you're going to start by putting your cursor straight across from main idea right here. Then you're going to go up to the top here to your control ribbon up here, and you're going to turn on the numbering system. See how it says numbered list? Okay, turn that on. It should give you a 1 and a period and an indent. Now, you just type main idea and watch what happens. Hit enter. Notice how computer gives me a 2. I didn't want a 2, but it doesn't know that. It's just going to keep going with where it was. What I really wanted was an A. I need to increase the indent, but the computer doesn't know that yet. I have to tell it to increase the indent. Okay, there's two great ways to tell it to increase the indent. The first way is you can actually use the increase indent button. That works just fine. The decrease indent button works as well. But I found that the easiest way to increase the indent is literally just to hit tab on your keyboard. So remember what I said. If you do this right, you shouldn't even have to take your hands off the keyboard. So I just type sub idea, hit enter, hit tab. I don't want a B, I want a lowercase Roman numeral 1. Then I do my supporting details. Hit enter. Obviously, it gave me what I'm looking for there. I don't need to change anything. Now, when you get down to here, tab's not going to work for you because tab increases the indent. What you're looking to do here is to decrease the indent. Now, you could go up here and use the decrease indent button. That would be fine. That would work great. Or, keeping your hands on the keyboard, you can just hold down the shift key and hit tab, and it decreases the indent for you. Ready for your next sub idea, enter, tab. Now when I get down to here, notice I can hit shift tab more than once. I can hit tab more than once. The computer doesn't care how far I tell it to increase or decrease the indent. It just needs you or me to tell it what we're trying to do. So then I'm going to type again. Notice that this did not put the ND here in superscript. But if you remember back to Word Worksheet number 1, the best way to do that is to type the whole thing first, like we just did. Just type the whole thing. And then just grab what you want to change. And then if you remember right, we were up into Format, Text, Superscript. So there we have a second main idea with the ND in superscript. Keep typing. Enter, tab. Enter, tab. Now, when you get down to here and it's all done, you're finished. The best way to get out of the numbering system, you got this lowercase Roman numeral 4 staring you in the face. You don't want it. The best way to get out of the numbering system is go up here, turn it off. That tells the system that you are done numbering, not that you want to take a break and start numbering again later, that this numbered list right here, finished. Okay, don't be hitting backspace, don't be hitting anything, just turn it off. That's where you got to go. Now, I have an example of kind of a larger outline. It's a lot of typing, sorry about that, but one of the great uses for outlining is to pre-plan your writing. So if you scroll down, you'll notice that I have an outline here that covers healthy eating choices. Now, if you look at this outline pretty carefully, you could tell that if you had an outline like this, you could easily turn this into a 5-paragraph essay just using this outline. Now, do you know why I say it's 5 paragraphs? There's only 1, 2, 3 main ideas. This would be a 5-paragraph essay because intro and conclusion, which is interesting when you're in your English class and they tell you you're going to write a 5-paragraph essay. Everybody's like, I don't want to do it. But how many good ideas do you have to come up with to write a 5-paragraph essay? Yeah, 3. Who can't come up with 3 good ideas? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this outline and we're going to type it down here. So to start this off, you're going to come down here on the blank page. You're just going to put your cursor down here. Okay, you're going to go up here. You're going to turn on your numbering system. So your numbering system should look like it is right there. Okay, now ideas for how to see this at the same time as you are typing it. First thing you can do is open up another copy and put them side by side on your computer screen. You could open up another copy in another tab up at the top and flip back and forth. If you get really desperate, you could scroll up like a lot of my students have done in class and memorize a line and then scroll down and type it. Okay, so any way you choose to do that, even if you were to put maybe this example on your phone. So log your phone into your Google Docs, grab a copy of the assignment you're working on, show it on your phone screen while you're typing. Any way you want to do this to make it easier for you, because I know this is a lot of typing. Sorry about that. It's a really good example. It really shows how things work with this numbered list outlining mumbo jumbo. So go ahead, take care of that. Please don't skip this. I know it's kind of hard, but please don't skip this part. It's worth a lot of points. You're not going to be happy if you skip it. Okay. Then, last item on this worksheet, and then you're completely done. It's down here. We're doing the same kind of thing. You're going to duplicate this bulleted list over here on the left. If you want to know what this is, the title here is 14 in bold. So the picture kind of looks a little bit off, but trust me, that was originally 14 in bold. And then the rest of this is regular 12 and not bold. If you come down here and line it up properly, and then you come up here and you turn on your numbering system, you should be able to type those out. It should be pretty easy. You type the phrase and then you hit enter and it gives you a bullet. Now, if you want to get fancy with bulleted lists, you don't have to do this here. I just want you to copy this, but you can also use the tab, shift tab trick to increase the indent or decrease the indent. And notice how it gives you different bullets, which is kind of fancy. Don't have to do that here, but it's something you can use. That works in PowerPoint. It works in, Google Docs here. It works in Microsoft Word. That whole tab, shift tab trick works in a lot of pieces of software. So I want you to get used to using that, know that it's available, and kind of know what it does. So after you're done with this bulleted list, that's pretty much the whole thing. Go ahead, turn it in. Thanks for watching.